The findings of the research revealed that an incompetent person often tends to overestimate their level of skill. They fail to recognize the competent skills of their associates. They fail to recognize the severity of their own shortcomings. And they will recognize their own shortcomings after they receive training that exposes their deficiencies. Stay tuned. Coming up, we discuss the process for competency development and introduce the Dunning-Kruger Effect, a cognitive bias whereby unskilled people suffer from the illusion of having superior skills and knowledge. But first, let's hear from our amazing sponsor, Midwest Fire. Every day, the hard-working men and women at Midwest Fire build the most reliable firefighting apparatus to be found anywhere. Their customers know a well-built fire engine means lives and property saved. Midwest Fire, a factory direct manufacturer dedicated to helping you extinguish fire before it becomes a raging beast. To learn more about what fuels their passion, visit MidwestFire.com. Hello and welcome to the Situational Awareness Matters Show, episode 351. I am your host, Rich Gassaway. The purpose of this show is to improve situational awareness and decision-making for individuals and teams who work in high-risk, high-consequence, time-compressed environments with changing conditions. The SA Matters mission is simple. We want to help you see the bad things coming in time to prevent bad outcomes. Today's feature segment is sponsored by Gassaway Virtual Training. There are 33 online training programs for you to choose from. Some of the programs are live events presented virtually, and some of them are pre-recorded programs. To learn more, visit samatters.com website and click on the Virtual Training tab. Okay, let's jump into today's feature segment where we discuss the process for competency development and introduce the Dunning-Kruger Effect, a cognitive bias whereby unskilled people suffer from the illusion of having superior skills and knowledge. There are 4 levels of progression a person goes through in the development of competence. The pathway begins with a complete unawareness of how little a person knows and progresses to a complete unawareness of how much a person knows. There's a dangerous cognitive phenomena that can occur along this continuum known as the Dunning-Kruger Effect. A person with this cognitive bias can be a very dangerous person and can contribute to an erosion of their situational awareness. There are 4 steps in the progression of competency. Step 1 is unconscious incompetence, being unaware of what you do not know. Step 2 is conscious incompetence, being aware of how much you do not know. Step 3 is conscious competence, being aware of how much you know. And the final step is unconscious competence, being unaware of just how much you actually know. The Dunning-Kruger Effect. In 1999, 2 professors at Cornell University conducted a series of experiments and published their findings in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology. What they uncovered was a cognitive bias where unskilled people suffer from an illusion of having superior skills and superior knowledge. I have seen this firsthand in my firefighter safety, mistakes, and best practices class, where I will ask a young firefighter, typically someone with less than 2 years of experience, just how comfortable they would be commanding a fire incident if they found themselves being the most senior person on the scene. Remarkably, I have had participants rate themselves as highly competent and highly confident. Then I'll ask them if they've ever commanded a structure fire incident before. Almost every one of them will have said no. Then I'll ask if they have any training in incident command. Most will acknowledge that they have, often on the internet, had some training on incident command. Remember that this person being quizzed is the senior member of the department who's on the scene of the incident. Clearly, these individuals are suffering from the illusion of superiority that David Dunning and Dunning-Kruger identified in their research. The findings of the research revealed that an incompetent person often tends to overestimate their level of skill. They fail to recognize the competent skills of their associates. They fail to recognize the severity of their own shortcomings. And they will recognize their own shortcomings after they receive training that exposes their deficiencies. Their findings were published in a paper titled Unskilled and Unaware of It: How Difficulties in Recognizing One's Own Incompetence Leads to an Inflated Self-Assessment. The Dangerous Curse of Incompetence and Overconfidence. All responders start out unconsciously incompetent. They don't know what they don't know. This can be a blissful time in a new responder because the individual doesn't even realize how dangerous the work can be. The best case scenario is an incompetent person would lack the confidence to perform highly dangerous work. Equally, it would be desirable if the incompetent person lacked the confidence to assume command of an incident where a highly skilled and knowledgeable commander is required. Unfortunately, an unconsciously incompetent person can way overestimate their own knowledge, skills, and abilities and put themselves in a position to inflict great personal harm to themselves or others. This person would be known as lacking personal situational awareness. The incompetent person can also fail to realize the knowledge, skills, and abilities that are possessed by fellow responders who perform highly dangerous work with ease far exceeds theirs. When the incompetent fails to understand the knowledge level of their associates, they would be known as lacking team situational awareness. Fortunately, as Dunning-Kruger discovered, the sooner an incompetent is exposed to the knowledge of their shortcomings in the form of training, the quicker they will realize their deficiencies. Once the shortcomings are realized, the individual then possesses up to a competency scale of conscious incompetence. They are now aware of how much they don't know and how very dangerous that can be. This should, in turn, lower their confidence and help reduce the possibility of them performing highly dangerous work without proper training. While it is important to teach basic skills before advanced skills, I think it can also be very beneficial for newer members to be exposed to the complexities of the job early on. Perhaps not teaching the complexities, but providing an introduction to those complexities. My memory is summoned back to my hazardous materials training. The first level of the training was awareness, letting me in on the fact that hazmat can be very dangerous and deadly. If I don't have the right training and equipment, the best thing I can do to keep safe is call in the experts to deal with the problem. During my hazmat awareness training, no one tried to teach me the chemistry of hazardous materials, That would come later. The first class was intended to teach me just enough to have a healthy respect for how dangerous hazardous materials can be. I also remember how I left after I graduated from my basic firefighter, or how I felt after I graduated from my basic firefighter training program. I can say with confidence I suffered from the Dunning-Kruger cognitive bias. I was way too confident for how little that I knew. But I had a Firefighter 1 certificate, a wallet card, and even a patch that I could sew on my uniform shirt. I thought I knew what I needed to know to be a structural firefighter. Even once found myself establishing command at a complicated vehicle extrication where I had no business being in charge. Thankfully, no one was hurt, and the extrication was a success despite my best efforts to mess it up. Perhaps the easiest person to help transition from unconscious incompetence to conscious incompetence is the new member, eager to learn and open-minded. Unfortunately, not everyone who suffers from the Dunning-Kruger Effect is new. Sometimes the inflicted members have long-standing tenures with the department. Some, for a variety of reasons, never transitioned in their competency progression. Others transitioned, but then slid backwards as they failed to keep up with changes in the field. These members may be the most dangerous of all because they may have both a huge blind spot and a huge ego. Competency cannot progress in the presence of denial. Since 2007, SA Matters instructors have helped more than 1,200 organizations and 87,000 individuals improve high-risk decision-making, including first responders, industrial workers, military personnel, business leaders, medical professionals, utility workers, highway workers, aviation workers, oil refinery operators, and more. If you or someone you care about works in a high-stress, high-consequence decision-making environment, then we are here to help to improve their safety and survival and help them accomplish the most important mission of all. And that is to go home to the ones who love them. Since the start of the pandemic, I've had some amazing opportunities to present my programs on a virtual platform to groups ranging in size from 6 to 400. And just when I thought we were making the turn on the pandemic and getting back to delivering live programs again, we've had a setback. All the live events that I had scheduled for the rest of 2020 have postponed due to increases in COVID cases nationally. On November 24th, I did get the opportunity to present a situational awareness and thermal imaging virtual program for Andy Starnes in his group at Insight Training. It was an amazing evening of learning about situational awareness and thermal imaging. And I really appreciate Andy inviting me. And I got some amazing feedback. Here's one piece of an email that I received from a lieutenant from the Chicago Fire Department. He said, I participated in the webinar with you and Andy Starnes last night, and it was spectacular, incredible with an exclamation point. I'm simply blown away. Thank you for the outstanding presentation. Looking forward to watching it again when the recording is released. My mind was blown away. It never gets old getting feedback like that from an attendee, I got to tell you. And, when you haven't been doing a lot of programs and you get a chance to do one virtually like this, it feels good to get that kind of feedback. I'll say that. I want to thank the organizations that have allowed me to offer their members virtual training, and a special thanks to the 44 agencies who had their programs postponed in 2020 and are eagerly waiting to have them rescheduled in 2021. If you're interested in hosting a program live or virtual, just hit the Contact Us tab at the top of the SA Matters homepage, and I'll give you a call. Remember to check out the show notes for how to subscribe to our newsletter, how to follow us on social media. There we share ideas about how to improve situational awareness, how to make better decisions under stress, and how to improve the skills of critical thinking and resilient problem solving. Well, that's it. Episode 351 of the Situational Awareness Matters show is complete. Thank you again to our amazing Platinum sponsor for almost 7 years now, Midwest Fire. Thank you to our feature segment sponsor, Gasway Virtual Training. And thank you to our associate sponsor, Chief Miller. And most importantly, thank you, the listeners and viewers of this show, for sharing some of your valuable time with me today. I really appreciate your support of the SA Matters mission. Be safe out there, and may the peace of the Lord and strong situational awareness be with you always.
You've been listening to the Situational Awareness Matters Show with Dr. Richard Gasaway. If you're interested in learning more about situational awareness, human factors, and decision-making under stress, visit his website, samatters.com. If you're interested in booking Dr. Gasaway for a program, or if you would like to be a guest on his show, click the Contact Us tab at the top of the homepage.